Hey everyone, Ritz-senpai here. As you may have inferred from the title, this video is about the anime that I think is worth watching this season. And boy oh boy, some of my favorites have aired this season. So let's begin with what I've seen this season. Tensei Shitara Suraimu Datta Ken. The anime continues where it left off after the Tempest Festival and the unveiling of Ramirez's dungeon. It shows the different kinds of people trying to conquer the dungeon and the strategies they use. It's classic slime world building, setting the stage for the next part of the story. The hilarious part was when the Vert mercenary group was breezing through the upper floors and heading toward the 50th floor. Meanwhile, Hinata had already smashed through the lower floors. Rimuru, Ramirez, Veldora, and Milim possess homunculi and pose as dungeon monsters to stop the mercenary group. Unfortunately for them, they get their asses handed to them. They end up needing proper gear and some leveling up before they can finally beat them. Watching them have fun defeating dungeon challengers really feels like watching an RPG, which honestly it pretty much is. Meanwhile, the council plotting to take advantage of Tempest and line their own pockets was adapted beautifully, just like in the novel.
なあ君たち俺を舐めてるのか
As the story progresses, after the council meeting and Glenda's backstory, we head toward the finale with Maria Bell being completely overpowered by Rimuru. She seriously underestimated him and overestimated herself.
そうなのね自分の力を過信していたのは私だったのよ
Although I guess she underestimated someone else too. Yes, that someone is Yuki. Damn, he makes for quite the scheming antagonist.
この世界は僕の遊び場
The volume adaptation ends with Milim's friend Gaia finally being born. Overall, I'm really excited for the next volume's adaptation and to see how the upcoming plotline is portrayed in the anime. And next we have ReZero. ReZero is one of my must-watch recommendations. It was one of the few anime that felt like a breath of fresh air during a time when so many fantasy series focused on overpowered isekai protagonists. We're now in the 4th season of ReZero with Julius Forgotten, along with many others because of gluttony during the battle for Pristella. Natsuki, Subaru, Emilia, Anastasia, and Ram travel to the Pleiades watchtower where the sage resides. Their goal is to find a way to restore the memories of everyone whose names or memories were stolen by the bishops of gluttony. As Subaru talks to Anastasia, he realizes it isn't actually her.
暴食に食われて七死になった一人だ。お前はアナスタシアさんじゃない。その人の顔と声で勝手をやるな。
Instead, it's her contracted artificial spirit, Egdina. P.S. Not the witch of greed, but an artificial fox spirit created by her.
僕の名前はエキドナ羊はまあ人工精霊というやつだよ正直アナの体を乗っ取ったと思われても仕方ない状況だからね事実を話すのはためらわれたんだ
As they journey toward the tower which even Reinhardt cannot reach, Subaru has already died 6 times since the start of the season. The twist is that he has lost his memories, so he's experiencing his power and his despair all over again as he rediscovers what his isekai transferred ability really is. It was surprisingly emotional watching Subaru struggle to understand why everyone treated him so kindly. This Subaru is the version who became a recluse and lost all confidence in himself.
聞かなくちゃダメなこともたくさんあるのでも今は一つだけ聞かせてお願いあなたの名前を聞かせてスバルがそうしてくれるって信じてるし願ってるだって助けてくれるならできるからそこにいたからそうしてくれる人より 好きな人にそうしてもらえた方が。
And then we finally get the reveal of Emilia realizing her feelings for Subaru. Honestly, that was one of the most satisfying moments in the entire series. It also felt like the mist was trying to help Subaru instead of harming him. P.S. I actually don't know how this story plays out. I haven't read either the web novel or the light novel because I personally find ReZero much more enjoyable to watch than to read. So with that said, I've got plenty of excitement and plenty of Subaru cringe to look forward to in the next part of the anime.
愛してる。
Next up, we have something new. Wistoria, Wand and Sword, or otherwise known as Sui to Tsurugi no Wistoria. Season 2 is the newest season of the anime. The story is from the author Dan Machi, Fujino Omori, and he delivered yet again. I've grown really fond of it. The story follows Will Surford as he struggles to reach his childhood sweetheart, the Magia Vander Elferia, also known as the Ice Witch, one of the greatest mages in the world.
ずっと大きいよ。でもぬくもりは変わらない。
Season 1 mainly focused on Will's struggles. He's a swordsman with no magic in a world where magic is everything. Despite the constant discrimination and discouragement, he fights his way through the Magic Academy, determined to climb the tower and fulfill the promise he made to Elfie, that one day he would stand beside her at the top. At first, I honestly thought he would eventually awaken some hidden magic power like so many other protagonists. But even by episode 11, there was no sign of it. It almost felt illogical. Then episode 12 happened. Will finally displayed abilities that resembled magic, and suddenly everything made sense. Season 2 has now finished airing, and Season 3 has already been announced. This season mainly revolved around the new powers Will awakened. P.S. I do think Edward Sirfins gave Will way too much trouble. But looking at it from another perspective, I guess he cared enough to push him that hard. We also learned that simply becoming a high mage and entering the tower isn't automatically a happy ending. Will's next challenge is earning acceptance within the tower itself. And yes, I definitely felt the urge to kill Kreutz because of his absolutely insane ideas. The ending was hilarious, a little emotional, and left me really excited for what's coming in the next season. Alright, on to the next familiar anime. Mairimashita. Iruma-kun is one of the anime that got me hooked on anime in the first place. It balances slice of life, drama, fantasy and shonen incredibly well. The story follows Iruma, a human with unbelievably terrible parents who sell him to a demon. Iruma is the classic overly kind Japanese guy who simply can't say no whenever someone asks him for a favor. Now that season 4 is airing, we finally get to know all 13 members of the Misfit class, the future 13 crowns of the demon world. Since I've been following the manga, I already knew about Pursun-kun, but let me tell you, I honestly didn't notice his existence in the manga either, until Kalego exposed him, just like in the anime. Ever since then, I've been able to spot him whenever he appears, but without prior knowledge, it's almost impossible to recognize him as one of the main classmates. Most people would simply assume he's Mob A sitting in the classroom, but if you really think about it, nobody in the Misfit class behaves like a background character. Every single one of them has their own unique personality and quirks. The anime has done justice to the manga by following the story very faithfully. The music festival was spot on. The unexpected meeting between Alice and Ami Senpai, where Ami reveals his true nature to Alice, was adapted
あ
perfectly.
なたは、いや貴様はイルマ様に近づいて何をするつもりだ元祖返り
アメリジョン。私と一曲踊りませんか？
And finally, we're getting some actual progress between Ameri and Iruma. I'm really excited for the upcoming arc because it pushes the main story forward. And next we have Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei Season 3 moves the main story forward with a lot of exciting discoveries waiting for Rudeus. It also finally brings the reunion with Eris. Since the anime hasn't aired yet, I'll keep this section brief because I know many of you are anime-only viewers. What I can say is this: get excited. The main plot of Mushoku Tensei finally starts to unfold. We'll learn much more about the dragon god Orsted and the real reason Rudeus was reincarnated into that world. Anything beyond that would spoil way too much, so I'll leave it there. And finally, let's not forget my all-time favorite, One Piece. I think a lot of people love this series, thanks to the fan base. I first watched One Piece as a kid on Cartoon Network around 2001 or 2002. Then it stopped airing. I picked it up again around 2013. When the Punk Hazard arc had just started, I caught up in just 17 days. And wow, I was completely hooked. Now that One Piece is entering the final stages of its story, things are only getting better. The anime has just begun the Elbaf arc, and let me tell you, things are about to become much more intense. There are going to be countless surprises and a huge amount of history revealed throughout this arc.
第一世界。第二世界。彼らはもう会えないのだ。第三世界。太陽の神は踊り、笑い、世界を終末へと導く。太陽は回帰し、新しい朝が来る。彼らはきっと会えるだろう。
We're finally seeing the main military force of the Celestial Dragons, the God Knights. We're also introduced to the mysterious character teased at the end of the Egghead arc, and finally, the long-running rumor that Shanks was secretly a spy for the world government has been completely debunked with the appearance of Shamrock. This arc also gives us a little more insight into Shanks' origins. Honestly, you can finally feel that One Piece is moving toward its conclusion. Although I'm getting ahead of myself, the anime is still only at the beginning of the Elbaf arc. All I'll say is that there are plenty of surprises waiting for us. We'll learn much more about Loki, Emu and Rox, and we'll also get more stories involving Shaki, Rayleigh and Roger. That's it from me. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you all in the next one.